Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Ro Paris Art, Ro for Roxane, my name, Paris for Barcelona because I don't live in Paris for a while. It's been 13 years in Barcelona. And art for the art that I make, but not today. Today I'm with Kim. Hi Kim.
Hello.
Good to see you here.
Happy to be here.
The podcast today is people doing cool things in Barcelona. And the idea is to highlight people doing cool things. So all local or international talents in order to create more dynamism between our communities. Because we tend to exist in parallel with the Catalan talents, but you are quite integrated in the Catalan community.
It's been a long time. It's been almost 20 years.
You will tell us all about it. So maybe first introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Kim Jordan. I was born in Seattle. I'm going to look at you, right? Okay.
You can look at them too.
A long time ago in 1983, and I came to Barcelona when I was 24.
Okay, how did you come here? Because it's
How did I come? Yeah,
12 hours from your house. We just counted before the live.
We did. I was finishing school in Las Vegas, in the University of Las Vegas, and I wanted to change from what I was doing. I was like dancing professionally. I was kind of in the show business world. And I needed something new.
Okay.
And I decided to come to Europe, which is like a typical cliche thing for Americans. But I came and traveled around for about 5 months. And then once I finished...
yourself?
By myself, yeah. And then when I finished, I didn't want to go back to the States. I found a way to stay.
But
basically.
You finished in Barcelona? Or you... Don't tell me Paris because...
No, I really my plan was, I thought, well, Barcelona, I would like to continue learning the language. I love the food. It's next to a beach. It's next to all these European countries that are easy to travel to. And at the time, I was in love with a Portuguese guy. From Lagos. And I thought that, so if I'm in Barcelona, I'll be closer to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good calculation. Perfect. So just to come back from the beginning, so you're from Seattle. And I had to print a map from your country just to be sure. Yeah, so I understood exactly where you were coming from. So you were from Seattle, but then you studied in Las Vegas. Is it usual in the United States to change your state to study, or did you have a specialty there, or were you especially interested in Las Vegas for some reason?
So what people do are studying abroad. So a lot of people studied abroad in Italy. I studied abroad my sophomore year in Guadalajara in Mexico. And then, my junior year, I felt like I could have more opportunities if I was at the university in Las Vegas, more dance opportunities.
So you were a dancer from the beginning?
Yeah, well, in what do you mean?
Because
when
I was researching your profile online, it's written sociologist, movement coach, and choreographer. So you studied everything at the same time? Or did you have moments of your life where you were one and only one job at the time?
Well, I think that, according to my mom, I came out of the womb dancing. So that has been a part of my life since forever.
Are your parents also dancers?
No.
Okay.
So I'm on my own in that way. But I'm also a middle child. So
you had to differentiate.
And actually, according to my therapist, he said that it was a way for me to also take up space and have my own space, because you tend to be sandwiched in the middle of your siblings. But no, my parents didn't dance, but they loved music, and I was always very inspired by music. So I had my dad's influence, which was doo-wop, 60s Motown music. And
happy movements, right?
What?
The doo-wop, it's really happy and
very happy. Yeah, I mean, it's the 60s.
Very dynamic.
So, yeah, and they had fun choreography too. And then my mom was more rock and soul, R&B. So I had that. And then I had, what I was growing up with, popular culture in the U.S. at that time was grunge.
Okay.
So
like Nirvana or?
Like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, yes. And then on the other hand, we had hip-hop that was becoming very commercial. So I was heavily influenced by both of these. Actually, like my first concerts that I went to as a kid were Pearl Jam in a park. Like this was before they got super famous. And MC Hammer.
Nice.
I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes,
do you
do.
know? Okay.
Don't touch it, no?
You can't touch this. No. So had like that influence constantly. And I was also like Generation MTV. So I would watch all of the music videos, copy everything I could. But also back in the day, the information exchange was like between people more than via phones, So I would learn steps I had lots of friends that went to different schools. So I would learn steps from them. I would teach them steps. I think also in the States, you have more opportunities to dance socially than here. Like we have house parties, we have school dances.
Yeah, we don't have that in France.
Yeah, I know. So it's one of those things that I was surprised about. And we also have like dancing in the assemblies, like at schools, we have talent shows. So we have all of these, apart from family gatherings, all of these social situations where you're encouraged to dance.
Yeah, and taking the ownership of your body also in the education is very important. And in France, these days, they are reducing a lot the hours of sports.
Wow.
Saying that we are very bad at math or or writing our language. And it's extremely important also for public speaking,
absolutely.
Self-confidence and everything. So
I mean, there's so many things. And like now all of these studies that are coming out too that talk about how dance is, it's a uniter. It's a universal uniter. It's social bonding, but it's also becoming clear through this research and investigation that it's also very helpful as an antidepressant.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
take note of that, everyone.
Take note.
If you're a little bit depressed.
Not just dancing at home, but like dancing in community, doing the same movements with the same music. So that sort of like you have to be synchronized while you do it for all of the effects to take place.
That's your sociologist, the sociologist in you talking.
Sure. Yes, we could call it that. But yeah.
So how did you combine the two careers?
I mean, it was just basically interest. Like they both interest me. And I think that they kind of go hand in hand, like the social and historical implications of physical movement are important to be able to embody the movement, right? So understanding that part, like what was the music? What was the wardrobe? What was, all of those questions are super interesting to really understand each of the different, genres of dance.
So you studied the sociology of dance?
No.
So
I studied sociology and I studied dance.
Okay, what was your
major?
Yes, interest in sociology?
I started studying psychology, and then it was so ridiculous. I decided to switch to sociology based on something really silly, which was that I wouldn't have to take a specific math class.
Okay, so
for the sociology major that I would have to do for the psychology major. But I also think it makes more sense, the study of groups versus I don't think I would want to be work like a therapist and I work with groups now, you know what I mean?
You do?
And there is a lot of therapy there, but not like individualized, not therapy, but corporal therapy.
Yes, because I didn't told the people how we met.
Yes.
But I'm taking your classes, your dance classes. Every week I'm going to Twerk with you and the girls. Because it's mostly girls. We will talk about that later.
Yeah.
But at the moment, in my class,
yeah, last year
girls.
we had a couple guys come through. But yeah.
Yeah, this year only girls.
Yes.
So I met you because I had this very dear friend who was getting married, and we were searching for an activity, and someone suggested that we would take a twerk class with you.
Yes.
Someone already convinced, and we were a little bit shy, and we were not sure of how dairy we would be with you. And what's impacted me immediately is that you speak about history and groups and cultures. It's very important for you. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just, for the first class, you have to put the context of the dance. But you do it almost, you educate us almost during every class. That's very important for you.
Yes, it is. And since I grew up with it, since it was an organic experience with twerk, with ass shaking, I have those resources. So I want to share them. And that helps you guys understand more, like, what are we doing? What is this? Where does this song come? Well, when did they start calling it that? Well, all of those things are super important, I think.
And for the funny part, I was having a very high-pressure job in a corporate at that moment.
Yeah.
And I didn't have my period for almost 3 years. And it was so, like, at the moment, I didn't really realize because, I was working so hard. I just took this post to do the despedida de soltera. I don't know how you call it in English.
I think they call it a hen party, like a hen party in British English, perhaps. And then we call it a bachelorette party.
Bachelorette. And then we were dancing, and just after the class, first I felt extremely relaxed, and boom,
oh my God.
period came back.
I don't know if you told me that.
No, and I remember because I thought, because of course with the period, it's many things that are coming back,
Sure.
like sensibility, hormones, also sleep. Suddenly it's like getting awake.
Yeah.
And I thought I really need to come back, and I did the 6 weeks course that you do, initiation. And then I was calling my mom, and my mom was so supportive, surprised. We will talk about that in a second. But like, I think in Europe we have a lot of prejudices towards twerk still. But my mom was so supportive. She said, you know what? If it makes you good, even if it's for a short time, you should try and go there. And so it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
And so how did you get into twerk?
So I think that, like, the common misconception with twerk is that, it just, like, came to be in 2013. But for most people, like, living in the U.S. That liked hip-hop culture, we've been shaking our asses since forever. So it just didn't have the name twerk.
When you say we, it's the women or the population?
Oh, I think everybody. Like, we would, like I said, again, going back to the social dances, there were so many opportunities to dance, and everybody wanted to dance. Like, you wanted to go to the dance at school. Like,
to release the pressure of a working day.
Well, but this is pre-work. This is like high school, middle school. So that's what I mean. Like, we were dancing. I was doing the crybaby when I was 9.
For the people who don't know, it's a position where you are on the ground like that, and you're shaking your ass, and you're also this was a step that we were doing. We actually did that step in an assembly performance. So I don't know if you know what an assembly is. It's just a gathering of the entire school. This was in elementary school in 5th grade. Okay.
And we were dancing to a song called Regulate by Warren G. And it was like this super popular song at that moment. And so we did our hip-hop dances, and then we did the crybaby.
And it was not sexualized for...
It wasn't, not for us. Okay. Other people could look at it and sexualize it. But we were just doing what we saw, like, on TV. And, it wasn't... It was us having fun. So saying that... there was this author of it was just like a journalist, I think, this funny article that I read a while back. And he was like, remember when a bunch of people found out about twerking for the first time in 2013? And it just goes to show that, like, we have always been doing it. It just has had a million names since its inception. So, like, in the 80s, people called it doing the butt. Then, like, in Miami bass, they would call it pussy poppin'.
Yes.
And then in, like, the bounce scene in New Orleans, they would call it, they have so many names for it, but they were saying back that ass up, too, because there was a super popular, the twerk anthem, the official twerk anthem was that song, Back That Ass Up. Then you had, like, Drop It Like It's Hot. All these names to describe the same thing, but it wasn't until... a white person popularized it.
Okay.
Surprise. In 2013, which was Miley Cyrus. And all of a sudden it was like, what is this? Like, where did this come from? But it had always been around. It just hadn't been popularized.
Actually, I have. I was thinking while preparing this interview, when was my first memory of twerk?
Right.
And it was before 2013.
Okay.
It was in 2001.
Nice.
In a movie called Save the Last Dance from Thomas Carter. I don't know if you know the movie.
I've seen the movie. I don't remember that much about it, but
So it's the story of Sarah, very blondie, white, nice ballet dancer girl.
yes.
And her mom dies, so she has to go to live with her dad in the suburb of Chicago.
Okay.
And she is in a majority black high school. And so she has trouble to fit in. She makes a friend who
Yeah.
invited her to a club, hip-hop club. And so she falls in love with the most smart black guy of the community. But of course, because of their skin color difference, their
can't
love, is prohibited. And at one point, you have this moment in the club. He teaches her how to dance hip-hop. But it's a very shy twerk. You know, she's doing it the right way because she's a virgin, she's pure, she's innocent.
Yeah.
And suddenly you have the ex-girlfriend of the guy she likes that comes and on the dance floor and pushes her out.
Okay.
And she starts twerking like in a very sexual, over-sexual way. So she's the bad girl, you know, like the
Sure.
temptress, diabolical that comes. And so I was thinking about this vision that we have of twerk, and I went in the dictionary, French dictionary first.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised because in every dictionary, you have the word provocative in
Sure.
the definition.
Yeah.
So I went to the Oxford Dictionary, and guess what? We still have the provocative. So
Word.
it's to dance to popular music in a sexually provocative manner using thrusting movements of the bottom and hips while in a low squatting stance. It's always described as,
Provocative.
yes, but also as squatting. And we do so many other stuff. At
There's
least-
to go back to the Save the Last Dance. I mean, I think that another part of just the other part of the general racism and white privilege that is about in all dance cultures as well as in everyday life. So you're going to have like the white dancer who can do twerk and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Yes.
It's whatever. And then the black one does it. I'm not sure she was black, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay. And she's ratchet for doing
Yep.
it. She's gross and that's always, that's a huge thing that is another question that comes up a lot in this culture because how does that make any sense? The black community's created this dance. So how is it that they are ratchet and we're seen as whatever, cute doing it or, a little daring or whatever? Like, that's racism. That's white privilege. And it's just as much alive in twerk culture as any other aspect in the world.
It's sad because it's a nice movie and especially the message in the end. At least that's how I took it the first time. I didn't see it again to prepare this interview. I just saw again the scene in the club. But in the end, Sarah, she's accepted into Juilliard because she mixes ballet and hip hop, and she doesn't work in her Juilliard. How do you say
the casting?
Yeah, the casting.
Audition.
But she's mixing both worlds, and everyone is happy. But this scene in particular, effectively today, looked especially racist and also sexist, like
of
why
course.
is this woman, why dance this way would be first sexual? Actually, that was one of the questions I had most because on Instagram, people were sending the question in DMs and not publishing the questions under the picture that I published.
Yeah.
And I think also because I suppose, you tell me, but because they are a little bit ashamed to, it's like a whole topic, like prohibited topic. People don't want to show interest in something that would be maybe provocative again. And so people concretely ask me, and I read the question, twerk is often associated with sensuality. How can we difference what belongs to dance and what belongs to sexuality?
For me, like, first of all, what is the problem with sensuality?
Yes.
Like, that is such a patriarchal thing. Like, no, don't be provocative. Don't be sensual. You're not allowed to be that way. You have to be, you know what I mean? So that first, like, just that conversation I've had for so many years.
Sorry.
Like, but like, is twerk sexist? Is twerk provocative? It's like, can we move on, like, to the other more important questions? Sexuality, also, I think that we don't understand what it is. Like, it's a central aspect of being human. Like, my sexuality goes where I go. It's always present. I don't need to, distinguish it or take it apart from. Another thing is you sexualizing me and you watching me dance and thinking, oh, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this to provoke you, which is, once again, this is a symptom of a patriarchal society that doesn't understand that women have their own agency to be sexual people and have their own bodily autonomy.
And so when you started to dance twerk, did you face resistance or judgment? Family, you said no, your parents were dancers, so they were understanding the concept of dancing.
I think that, again, as they were social dances, they're party dances. You're not necessarily... like, we would go to clubs. I mean, we were at, again, house parties. Oh, we weren't necessarily, like, dancing in front of them, this specific type of no, because, like I said, hip-hop is a lot of footwork, and it's also ass-shaking. So it's like you have a mix of all the things. And maybe they would have been, like, there was another thing we did, too, in high school, which was called freak dancing.
We didn't practice this one.
Freak dancing was when you would have someone, like, in front of you or in back of you, and you'd just be, like, like, kind of grinding. And, like, I remember that the teachers would be like, no freak dancing.
Freak dancing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so freak is different, like freaky, not, like, weird.
Okay.
But freak, like, sexually freaky, like...
Okay.
So I remember that happening, but no, I wasn't, like, because it was something that you did in the clubs and everybody did it. So it wasn't, but I do remember that after the sort of worldwide population of it happened, popularization of it, I felt more, like, permitted to do it, even though I still, like, maybe some friends back home would be like, what is she doing?
Are they friends, really?
I mean, who knows? It doesn't matter. But there was a lot of different inputs in the beginning, and a lot of people thought, like, twerk was coming from Russia, or seriously, there was in the beginning, because there was a big group of Russian women who were practicing twerk.
Okay. Interesting.
You didn't know this, and they were like, they did this whole trend with, like, wearing these black socks up to the knees.
I will definitely do a reel about that.
And it was interesting, too, because it was so... I remember seeing it for the first time, and their faces were all, like, mad when they were dancing. I'm like, this is a celebratory dance. Like, this has always been celebrating. Like, you're having fun doing it. This is weird. This is, like, out of context. It's weirding me out. So then there was all of these inputs, I think, too. Like, for me, my first... Like I said, so... we're talking about, it's coming from hip-hop culture, right? But within hip-hop culture, there's been an evolution of booty-shaking music. So first, like I said, we start more with Miami bass, and then we go into New Orleans bounce, and then we go into, like, dirty South hip-hop, and then we come to trap, right? So these are, like, the big... And
everything you teach, I must say. You do sessions of everything.
And then trap is, like, I feel like the rhythms, dirty South hip-hop and trap, which both come from Atlanta, the rhythms are a little bit more, like, supple.
Okay.
And I think that has allowed for more ass-shaking movements than maybe before.
Okay.
I don't know. So then, like, so twerk, the first viral twerk video was in 2009. And this was with the twerk team. 3 dancers from Atlanta, and they're actually dancing to a song called The Stanky Leg. The Stanky Leg is a dance step.
Okay.
Another hip-hop dance step that doesn't involve shaking your ass. it's moving your leg.
Yeah, they ask move a little bit because of the leg, because you're kind of standing. And
But it's still the you know, the sauce or whatever in the move is not with the ass. It's with the leg.
Yeah.
So these three dancers, during the chorus, they're doing the stanky leg, okay? And then when the chorus stops, one will go in and do her freestyle. And the freestyle was all ass shaking.
Okay.
And that was the first time that I saw, whoa, like just a full ass freestyle. And everybody, I remember like it went viral because we were amazed, especially by one of the dancers whose name was Miss Twerk Some, and she's known as Patient Zero of Twerk. And it was just like amazing to watch. And so after that, it was like, okay, so now we're seeing more videos and now there's like classes that are even dedicated to just the booty and hip movements versus a hip hop in general, where you have some ass, you have some footwork. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I'm just saying hi to Dark Lulu, and Grumi Gru that say hi on the chat. I totally understand what you mean, also, especially with the happy parts. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day from a YouTuber called Océane, that you don't know because she's French.
Okay.
And it's called, she has a show, and this one was called 5 Guys and 1 Woman. And, you know, just by listening to the voices, a little bit transformed, she had to guess which one was the woman. So she starts asking questions like, hey, what's your hair routine? Do you do your nails? And she can't find which one is the girl. And at one point, she's asking, hey, do you twerk? And actually, all the men, they give answers, but crazy answers. You know, they're like, yeah, we twerk every day after work, after a long day of being, doing the waitress in a bar.
Yeah.
And the only, normal from our point of view answer from a girl, was like totally like, yeah, when I feel happy with my girlfriend, or when we go once a month to a club. And suddenly Océane, the YouTuber, she was like, okay, so we have 5 exaggerated answers from the guys.
Yeah.
Thinking that twerk is a big thing, like every woman would do, like very heavily to quit the stress. And and it was so funny.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to turn it into a career?
I didn't.
Okay.
It just happened. I remember that because I was teaching hip hop and jazz classes.
Okay.
I was also very...
What's the difference between the different styles?
American jazz. Jazz is they're both African American. They're both created in the African American communities.
Okay.
But hip hop is like a street style.
Okay.
And jazz, I mean, really technically probably has more in common with hip hop than it does with ballet. But it's like technique, like ballet technique.
Okay.
So the classes are different. The structure of the classes isn't so different, but you're learning to turn, you're learning to do passés, you're learning to do jetés, you're learning to do... Yes.
All the French vocabulary.
I do, yes, but I don't pronounce it well, but yes, all of that vocabulary is in French.
And the slightest accent in French make us say, what?
Yeah.
What? Paris.
Battement. Glissade. I'm not gonna.
Good.
I'm not gonna go on. But yeah, so I was teaching jazz and hip hop, and some of my hip hop students asked me, "Hey, will you teach us some twerk movements?" And I said, "Okay." So that happened. That was like 2012, and then
just before Miley Cyrus.
Right. Or probably right around, who knows? Because, that same year, that's when Big Frida has the world record for most people twerking simultaneously.
Okay.
And that was also in 2013. And also in 2013, twerk entered the Oxford Dictionary.
With the definition I just read some minutes ago.
Yeah.
With the provocative...
It's very provocative, so provocative. And so, yeah. I did. I taught them. And then I said, well, let's do a workshop. Let's see what would happen if, people want to come to a workshop. So we did a Saturday workshop and it went really well. Then the next weekend, okay, let's do another one. And then every month I was doing them and more people. And then I started traveling. I started teaching abroad in Europe.
Yeah, I saw 50 countries.
I've been to a lot of places, and I went back to Seattle. I was teaching in Seattle when I went home, and I taught at a burlesque school.
Nice.
And there, this woman, Nicole, comes up to me after, and she's like, that was amazing. I want to work with you. And I was like, okay. So then she was, I don't know what to call her, community manager, marketing. She did all of that. And she was like, well, we're going to, what you just taught, I want us to codify that and turn it into a certification program so that you can certify other instructors.
Oh, wow.
To teach
Congratulations.
this throughout the world. Yeah, so we did that. And then I was doing certification courses. And that was, so then I have I think 50 people who got certified with me. But then, yeah.
Do we call it the Kim Jordan's
way?
Or?
It was the KJC, Kim Jordan Creations Booty Dance Method. Because I still, twerk, okay, it's the word now. It's the popular word now. But I think that just to say booty dance or, even pelvic dance, whatever you want to call it, that more, it encompasses better all of the movements because we're not just using the pelvis. We're also using, there's other things that we do. We're isolating our glute muscles. There's floor work. There's lots of stuff that's not just...
Yeah, and for many publics, you're teaching to pregnant women and also to men. That's something I'm telling my friends often that's in your... I saw it in the last show of the year with the school.
Yes.
On stage, you called your kids, you're calling also old people, you're calling also men and in the public, and they're very happy to do it. And it's so liberating. It's not nothing forced. Because at first, if I remember well, you were giving little numbers to people and then you called a number And I remember this person being chosen in the public and having to come on stage. And I thought, oh mon Dieu, this is the moment where someone, breaks in tears or, I don't know, feels totally frozen on stage because this person is not a dancer and we just saw a show of 1 hour.
Yes.
And no, people take it very, at that moment at least, in a relaxed way. It's more psychological than really physical, I felt. And I saw that you were following someone on Instagram, Maimouna Koulibaly. And she's doing something called the booty therapy.
Yeah.
And she was explaining that it was a way to reclaim her body after being raped and being...
For sure.
Also, she had many trauma. She has been beaten and everything. And I felt a lot of proximity with what you teach because when you speak about twerk, it's not about flexibility or strength.
Yeah.
It's also a mental moment.
Yes. Well, I think that a lot of that I've learned through my students' experiences. In the beginning, I wasn't expecting all of this feedback and these testimonies that I've received, like yours. That's a big thing to all of a sudden regulate your menstrual cycle. And you're not the only one who's told me that. I've had lots of people tell me that. Or people who've been able to get pregnant after, years of trying.
Wow.
People who have better sexual relations, better orgasms, people who feel better about their body.
Also men are testifying or?
No, these are mostly women. I don't think I've had that many testimonies from the male participants.
It's the moment to come to classes.
Yeah,
we're waiting for you.
Definitely. No, I think that everybody should should twerk or move your ass or move the center of your body somehow. It's super important. And at the end of the year festival, it's a great opportunity because you do have all these different ages and genders and sexual orientations. You have so many different people. And I love that, no, you're not just going to sit and watch us. Get up.
Yes, they do dance.
This is a dance that is shared with the community. It's not just you watching us. It's all of us doing it together. And I remember that my father-in-law, he's 78, And after the first year, so we've done 3 so far, right? I think we've done 3 festivals. Sí. Yeah,
Okay.
It's been 3. So after the first one, he came up to me and he was like, Kim, I just loved it because I saw all of these different types of women,
Yes.
Different body types,
Yes.
different nationalities, different whatever, but they were all smiling and having
Yes.
so much fun up there. And he was like, and it really transmitted this happiness that they felt. I just really loved it. And I felt that's so great that an 78-year-old person can see this
Yes,
and not be
men.
like, ew, what's going on? They're moving their asses. But like get into it, want to be a part of it and, feel even emotional about it.
Yeah. And it's not just something that you do for the school, but I also saw that you were collaborating with very important brands.
Oh, yeah.
And that I also saw some of your productions without knowing you were behind for, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the one with the car and the 2 people.
The Kia ad.
Yeah, I think I've seen this one. How was it, the experience with that, the dance experience?
So that one I worked as assistant choreographer. So basically, they had already put pretty much everything together in London, and they were filming in Barcelona. So I just had to take care of the couple.
Okay.
We rehearsed over and over again, be there on site, and
The movement coach.
the
part.
movement coach. And in the end, I remember that the director was like, "Okay, stop counting."
Okay.
So the choreographer who had originally choreographed it was very about the counts, And I was like, well, I mean, this is they're supposed to be outside of a car. They're just kind of relaxing. And he grabs her hand and they're, it's more informal. It's more spontaneous.
And romantic.
But I was like, I'm going to follow what the choreographer says. So, and then I remember the last couple of takes, he was like, don't count, just let them do it. And we did. And I remember it was super emotional because again, they're actors and they were able to, they didn't need the counts. They needed to just have the resources and then use their own talent to.
And you also coach people for their wedding, if I say
Yeah.
correctly.
That's fun too. That's fun because it's always non-dancers, and getting people to kind of show a little bit of themselves
Skills.
and you kind of try and find those things that make them unique. And because people get super nervous about a wedding dance. It's a big deal for a lot of people. So the last thing you need is to be like, oh my God, the wedding dance.
Also in dance in general, as you said, no, in Europe we don't never, well, at least in France,
yeah.
just getting on the dance floor would be so shameful. French people, they're with a long gin tonic at the bar, mysterious like that. And
That's just not, yeah. That I'm happy that we are not like that.
In the American continent, the whole continent, you're very free with the dance.
Dance has just always been a part of it. And plus we don't, just the timetables are different. We would go out at 7 and then you would be at the club at, I don't know, 10 or 11.
Oh,
and then it
wow.
closes
So early for
at
Barcelona.
2. I know. So there was, I don't know. But yeah, dancing has always been involved in the going outs.
So we have, we still have half an hour, right? Or 5 minutes? Okay. So what's your signature move? Do you have one?
That's fun. I think it depends on the song. So if it's more of a bounce song, it's a gallop, going around, or hands on the ground. I can't really show anything here. And then if it's more of a trap song, I probably will booty clap.
Okay.
I will booty clap into a split.
So can you describe it so people...
The booty clap is when your butt cheeks clap.
You have it on Instagram on many...
Yes, it's a go-to move for me. So I'll usually do that, and then I'll drop into a split. This is a show-off move.
Yeah.
And then in the split,
classes.
I will do the glute isolations.
Yes.
In the split. And I also love a good twerk push-up.
Okay.
Yeah.
People in the chat ask, how do you see the evolution of twerking in the future?
In the future, I don't know. What I can say is that these past, because it's been, 13 years. 13 years that I have been teaching my classes. And something new is that now I have students come to class who have been recommended the classes by chiropractors and physical therapists.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's a new thing.
Okay.
There's been enough years of it, to be sort of tried and tested. And a lot of people have seen the benefits, especially if you need more mobility in the lower part of your spinal column.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that that's an important thing, that it's getting to like the medical fields as well, that they're seeing all of the positives.
And so I had many questions towards the essential basics for beginners, because people were wondering if it was more cardio or strength, or if, you have moves that seem impossible to do. I know that the wobble, every time we are in classes, you're like, you have to practice at home. Yes. At one point it will come, but you have to practice. And, like one day you wake up and you're like, oh,
exactly.
Works. The wobble, just to be precise, it's a way to shake.
So it's like, it's similar to the shimmy in belly dancing or...
Never heard of it.
Okay. And it's also called jiggle in female dancehall. It actually has a million names. I learned it as wobble, but a lot of people will call it shake. Wiggle also. And it's basically you're standing straight up. Your legs are straight and your torso's like a little bit inclined forward. And you move your booty cheeks back and forth really fast.
I would love to show, but we have no space here.
I can show.
You can show. Well, show us.
So. Well, I'm wearing like...
Nice.
This is like a super typical movement, but yeah, it's one of those that has a bunch of different indications at once. So that's why it takes people so long. But the first thing that I tell people is to relax your ass. This is the major thing that you have to be able to do. Activate your pelvis.
It's not so easy. It seems easy, but it's not.
I think a lot of people are like, well, I don't know how to do that, because you've been tensing for so long, for so many years. And I'm asking you to not only relax your glutes, but also activate your pelvis at the same time, to do rotations coming forward. Right. So then you have the whole spinal column that if it's tight, if it's stuck, you're not gonna be able to execute the movements properly. So those are like the three top things: spinal mobility, activating your pelvis, and relaxing your glutes. And then from there, we can go places. Yes. But there's still a lot of like corporal consciousness that you have to work on in order to get there. And there's a lot of like blocks.
Yeah, and you're always saying blocks. Breathe in your class, because we are focusing on us in the mirror.
Yeah.
And trying to see, because the movement at first is so subtle that maybe we need to see it in the mirror to be sure that we do it correctly, because we are not sure if it's correct or not. And you're always like, are you breathing? And you see all the girls with a red face. Like,
exactly. Concentrating very hard. No, you have to breathe. And I always say that, especially because this is connected to this and to this. So it's like, if I want to relax my butt, then I need to relax my mouth. And breathing is just... It's an important physiological process.
Someone on the chat asked if, you've been doing the same type of dance for 13 years. Aren't you getting bored of it? Or is there innovation in the movement?
Interesting question. Sometimes, yeah. So it's an interesting question, because before I was doing a lot more dance, and since it became so popular and since so many people were interested and I saw so many benefits, I've really just been working with twerk and booty dances. Now, that being said, there's still a lot there, because hip hop, it's still connected to hip hop, and so as hip hop evolves, it does too, but I think that what we talked about on other occasions are the different types of booty dance around the world, right? So it's not just twerk, but there's also like female dancehall from Jamaica. So that's a different sound. That's a different style. Basically, they're all booty dances, right? So they're just different versions of them. When we talk about perreo, we're talking about...
Very local, perreo.
The double R is still like, I can't pronounce it. So this is Puerto Rico's version of booty dance, and it's danced to reggaeton.
Okay.
Right? Then you have female dancehall, right? So there's male dancehall as well and dancehall queen, but female dancehall are mostly the steps that would be considered booty dance within Jamaica, right? So it's connected to Jamaica and it's danced to dancehall music. And then you have twerk, which is the U.S.'s version of booty dance, and it's danced to hip hop music. So those are like the three sort of most popular, right? I recently got certified with Latonia Style. So she's a female dancehall pioneer. And I know we weren't doing it in the Monday group, but in the Tuesday and the Wednesday group, we've been working on a female dancehall choreography. We've done the whole trimester based on her movement vocabulary.
Okay.
So, so I'm not just staying in one place like I am. And like this week I was taking Bacardi classes.
What is it?
It's a South African street style.
Okay.
That was born like in 2003 in the Pretoria townships. So lots of footwork, but a little bit of ass work as well. So I guess it's like partly considered a booty dance as well. But so I try to continue taking class and discovering, the new styles that are coming. I mean, it's going to continue evolving forever. But and I remember that David, my husband, at one point was like, Kim, like...
When does it stop?
like, do you really want to put all your eggs in one basket with this? And I remember thinking, well, I don't know, like, let's just see what happens. And it's like, okay, so it's been 13 years.
Wise husband.
But it's interesting because twerk is just as relevant today as it was in 2013,
And do you have, because you told us about the talents that inspired you like in the past, but do you have like new talents coming that also, that you admire maybe in...
Yeah, but I don't just watch twerk dancers. And again, a lot of twerk dancers are dancers.
Yeah.
They're hip hop dancers or they're commercial dancers. They're people who do everything, and that's who I look up to, are people who do it all.
Yeah.
Because I have danced everything like that. So like there's one twerk dancer that I'm sure she's a dancer as well that I like a lot. Her name is Breezy, the twerk goddess, and she's in...
The twerk goddess?
She's in California. Miss Twerksome is always like a top for most people. Big Frida... There's a lot of people in New Orleans as well who are like one who's called Kandaki. She's a performance artist and she does everything. And she also has, I think, a show recently where she went through like Black music from the 20s until now. And she did like all of the dances to all of the music. I didn't get to see it, but she's amazing. And she shares so much super valuable content about the musical evolution and the dance that followed it. So, yeah, those are some. And then, I've always, I was originally super inspired by, the Fly Girls. I don't think that they made it outside of the U.S., perhaps.
At least not in my personal knowledge.
This was in the 90s. So you were probably like a baby. Or
were you 92?
The Fly Girls were... so there was a comedy sketch show called In Living Color.
Okay.
Do you know who Jim Carrey is?
Yes.
So he kind of got famous off of that show.
Okay.
And they had these fly girls who were the dancers. So in the commercials, they would dance.
Together always.
Yes. So they would have their choreographed dances. And the choreographer was Rosie Perez. She was like a famous Soul Train dancer and an actress. And one of the fly girls was Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they were like, I mean, they had the coolest outfits. They had the coolest moves. I watched them all the time. I loved Janet Jackson, wanted to be her choreographer. And I loved her choreographer. So like Paula Abdul, Tina Landon. Then I discovered Bob Fosse, who's like, a lot of people say that Beyonce's, what video? Is it that one or is it a different one that was modeled off of like a Bob Fosse style? I have lots of people that,
Good references to make an education towards twerk.
Yeah.
And for me, the most impressive twerk you've shown us was a video, because you're always saying when we are doing the warming, you call it in English also?
Warm-up?
The warm-up?
Yeah.
Calentamiento. You always say, go a little bit more down, no?
Go lower.
Go lower, go lower, go lower. And you showed us this video of women like twerking like super close from the ground, but they are in a squat position, but so low. And I think I'm always thinking of them every time I'm going lower.
You're thinking of them. Well,
yes.
I remember first you told me you thought it was AI.
Because it was like the knees and the, I don't know, like they look very flexible and strong at the same time. And it's not a usual combination. I suppose in dancers, like they are all very flexible and strong, but it's
that was
to see.
Especially that video was crazy. But yes, Florida people are known for getting super low and still being able to twerk. So like still being able to rotate the pelvis forward and back, like literally with their knees almost touching the ground and like adding arms to it. So,
of course, more difficulty.
Of course, yeah.
And then synchronization.
And then all of it.
I have a pretty difficult question, the next one, because we already kind of talked about it, but do you think dance is or should be political?
Yes. All art is political. I think it's kind of impossible to separate the two.
Yeah, and your motto is to twerk is not a crime. Like
yes.
You have those T-shirts and with it. Can you tell us a little bit on how you came with that sentence?
I mean, it was mostly like what I said before, having our own bodily autonomy, but also there's an emotional and physiological factor there as well. That just being able to be agents of our own sexuality through these dances or whatever else we want to use is not a crime. It's a revolution. So, yeah. Now it's still and it's still, like I said, like relevant. Like all of these things are still relevant because
especially.
People are still trying to take away our rights. And they just overturned Roe versus Wade in Trump's America. Like, it's scary. I think that they're even talking about trying to take away our right to vote. Like, it is. I mean, it's another level. So,
no, but also in France, like we have a wave of conservatism.
What is France doing?
I have no idea. That's why I moved to Spain.
Yeah, no, it's true that it is a little bit more of a safe haven here from all of the scary shit happening around the world.
Totally. Actually, I saw that you made many interviews in the national newspaper here, El País, which is kind of considered center-left liberal, but also an El Periódico, progressive newspaper. And also on a TV show, Ocho TV, the program Sexual Revolution.
Yes.
With presented by Ares Teixedo.
Sí.
So she's from Lérida, so very Catalan. That's why I was saying you're pretty good, because I want also to speak about Barcelona, because the whole purpose of this show is to put the spotlights on people doing stuff here that may not be totally visible by all the expat community if they're Catalan,
Right.
or by the Catalan community if they're expats. But you're the exact opposite of that. Like sometimes in your classes, people speak Catalan in
A lot of times.
a lot of times.
I have a lot of people who talk to me in Catalan.
Yeah. So how did you succeed to go? So
I don't know. I think that people in Barcelona have really connected to the idea of, wait, hold on a minute, like this area of our body, and whether or not you have a uterus, like this area of our body tends to store lots of emotions that maybe haven't been channeled correctly, traumas, doubts.
Barcelona is known to be very a feminist city.
For sure. So I think that in that, like, people saw that, okay, now if I'm able to sort of transform this area through doing an activity that not only, because a lot of people think of this area in our body and think of pain, or think of, okay, so my period hurts, or giving birth hurts, or even sexual relations hurt. All of the processes that are connected to this area. And, are we good?
Oh, good.
And being able to all of a sudden reconnect with this area, change the negative emotions to positive ones, and sort of transform it into an area of trust and pleasure. I mean, there's so many benefits that come with it. So I think a lot of people have like told their friends and then told their friends. And
so it was not through marketing and social media that you
oh my
got
God,
into the community.
I am so bad at social media. I am such a old millennial. I hate that I have to post shit.
Okay.
Like, seriously, if I could not have to promote my
I will do the
anything-
reels after the
that would be
publishing.
amazing. No, but seriously, like I've had so much mouth-to-mouth recommendations that the added thing of like having to now like film my classes and so that people know that we exist. Like, no, can we just do it like back in the day? Like, you find out about my studio because my classes are good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can we just do that versus me having to post on YouTube, Google Maps, Instagram, my webpage, all of these different spaces?
Yeah, but that was really useful to prepare this interview. So
Okay.
thank you for keeping
what
it updated.
what was mostly useful? The web.
The website, yes.
Right.
But I would never have gone if it was not for the interview. The first and only thing I would have done, first I searched on TikTok, and then
I'm not on TikTok.
and then on Instagram. Do you deal with negative comments, haters on Instagram, or is it just your community that funds you?
Only when we've done boosts.
Okay, so
Like, you boosted a
yeah,
post, and then all of a
paid,
sudden
marketing.
like crazy people show up
okay.
and are like, what are you doing? Or I don't know.
What is that? Why
who cares?
Why
Like,
does it come into my feed?
Exactly. Like, why are you commenting if you... No, but it's only happened a couple times. Yeah, I think most people are my followers or whatever.
Yeah, because also when we did flash mobs for
Yes.
8M,
Oh, yeah,
the
people
Women
comment
Day,
on those.
like I felt it was the first time in my life I was doing a flash mob. So suddenly in the street you put music and you start dancing, and I felt like people were pretty receptive. But maybe because also I'm French, like I'm used to. They had to invent a way to find people that were insulting in the street because it was getting too heavy on women,
Yeah.
like insulting you because you have a miniskirt or whatever. So I'm kind of used to the hate in the streets.
Right.
And Barcelona is not like that, of course. And after 13 years, I should relax about it. But, also with everything that I thought could trigger, the twerk could trigger in the mind of people. No,
Yeah.
like people are happy to see us dance and...
Yeah, no, I meant on when I posted one of the videos, like the first ever flash mob we did was in 2018 when I was actually dancing with Chocolate Remix, she's a reggaeton artist from Argentina.
Okay.
I think she calls it lesbian reggaeton.
Does it exist?
I don't know.
Okay.
She calls it that, and we were dancing to her song Ni Una Menos. So it's a very powerful like song about violence against women.
Okay.
And I remember when we posted that, like there were a couple comments from dudes
Okay.
in Spanish, like
Because they could understand the lyrics. It was in their language. Because when it's in English,
Right.
when it's not your direct language, maybe you feel a little like distance from the message. No, I can dance. I can perrear on reggaeton because like I understand, but it's not my language. It's not when they say bad words or they're not insulting me. But if they do the same in French, and sometimes on social media, you have plenty of people saying like, do you know what you're listening to? And they translate in French songs in other language. Suddenly you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
It sounds badly.
Yeah, but this specific song is a song that is like extremely empowering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The people who were commenting about it were idiots.
Okay, perfect.
Who wanted to say like, oh, you shouldn't be occupying the street dancing and talking about men killing women. Like, you know what I mean?
These type of people. Okay, so what's your favorite spots for dancing in Barcelona?
Oh my God, I have two kids that are 6 and 8 years old. I am not going to the clubs.
Apart from your own studio, I don't know if we said where it is. It's Carrer Violant d'Hongria, 140.
In Sants.
In Sants.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day, I would go to Jamboree. That was a spot to go to because they played good music. They played hip-hop music. And then, we did... Booty Riots. This was, I don't know if you read about that. They were the first parties that were created so that, women could twerk, perrear, in a safe, sort of respected space. Okay. So we created this space with a sexologist and a DJ. And
sounds fun.
Yeah. So that was back in that was probably like 2016.
Okay.
And that lasted for a couple years. And then after us, a bunch of other booty dance perreo parties started. So we were kind of like the pioneers here in Barcelona to get that started.
Where were you doing it?
In the Coitin Club, which was also in Sants.
Okay.
And now they have the Descomunal in Sants as well. Where Fede, he's the DJ, he does like perreo nights.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Yeah, so we actually went there after the inauguration of the studio. We went and danced there. But yeah, it's like what I said, I'm not the best person to ask right now because we're like our dance parties are in my living room for the moment, like David and I on a Saturday night, just like which is still fun.
I'm sure. So we are 10 minutes away from the end. I have one last question, and then you can have the final words. Maybe talk about a topic we would have missed or something you would like to say. But this question is also difficult. It was also a question from Instagram.
Okay.
Do you have an anecdote on, because they said the funniest moments in a class?
Yeah. I was actually talking with my students about this yesterday because I was like, lots of things happen. But, in the summertime, we have to open the windows.
Yeah, I know. I'm told so I can do
Exactly. You're the one who opens it a lot. So they're neighbors. And there was this one neighbor who would come down often and knock on the door and be like, you guys are being too loud. And I was like, okay, really? Like until 9:30 or 10, I'm allowed to have the music. But the problem was that when the doors are open, when the windows are open, you can just hear more versus when. So, so during one of the classes, she was trying to call me. And I don't answer my phone if I'm in class, right? So I come out of class and I see that I have these missed calls. And then I see I have
How many missed calls?
I don't know, like 3 or something. And then I see that I have a new review on Google Maps.
Oh mon Dieu.
And she goes something to the effect of, I mean, it's fine that you want to empower yourselves and everything, but can you just be a little bit quieter? It's just like, oh my God. And then she took it down.
So she's a
she
young
retracted.
To go to Google Maps and do that? Like
I don't know. True. So
So it's someone that knows about technology. So
Yeah.
it's necessarily under, I would say, I don't know.
But Google Maps, I think that people until like 60 years old are using.
I do write comments on Google Maps.
So she retracted her comment.
Thank
so
you.
I think that she felt like
You did well after that.
I mean, it's like, okay, no. Just be happy that, we are empowering women in this space.
Okay. I have also a funny anecdote. So, in my family or around me, also with my friends, we don't speak much about the body. Maybe it's because we're not used to, or
Yeah.
And I remember coming one day to your class, and you were because you have bones to explain.
The pelvic anatomy.
Exactly how it works, and I remember someone saying something to a girl from your class saying something about sexuality to another girl, and she just the girl she was speaking to just said, "You can do that," and we all turned, and you said, "Yeah, we can do that with a simple movement," and you just showed us, and back to class, and we were so amazed about the body flexibility. I don't remember what it was. If it was, are we able to split the legs in a way, or to do reverse, or I don't know. It was something at the same time dancey, but also sexy. And it was back to class in 1 second. And I remember I have this strong memory of, wow, we can all do that, and we did.
So, but was it a technique, or was it more like something that I was demonstrating with the pelvis?
Like you were showing us the pelvis, but what they were talking about was private between just them. They were not listening to what you were saying at that moment. And they were like, yeah, one day I did that, and the other one, what? We can do that? And suddenly we learned about our body, and it was so fun.
Yeah. No, there's so much to learn too. And I also, like, after having my kids, I became a pelvis enthusiast and needed to understand like what happens, like how does, not just the part of how do I create a life and then it is birthed through my pelvis, but like how is the pelvis connected to everything else in my body? Like how is it connected to my organs and like my sexual organs and my uterus? And I got super motivated to learn more and more about that. Then I got certified with the Laxmi method to be able to work with pregnant women. And she did.
You have a specific certification.
Yeah.
So you don't kill them or you don't provoke any births.
Oh my God. It's a lot of responsibility to work with pregnant women.
Okay.
It's like 2 people at once. And
true.
So I think it was over 200 hours, this certification of everything. So like how does the uterus work during birth and during just the normal physiological processes? What are the pelvic bones? Like let's discover the anatomy. How does the baby go through the pelvis, the birth canal? And then obviously the whole part about the dancing part, right? Yeah. And so what I was surprised to see too.
Can they dance like very close from the...
Basically what I avoid, so the main difference is that they have to contract their glute muscles when they do a pelvic rotation forward.
Okay.
Whereas I would tell you, like, you have to relax.
Okay.
They have to contract as to avoid, lumbalgias.
Yeah.
And things like that. So that's a difference. But also, once they get further along, like the twerk, that sharp movement is like, it's nicer to do circles and winds and stuff like that. So we end up doing more of circular movements. But what I was surprised to find in this certification was that, oh my God, like so many of the things we do are also helpful for pregnant women. And what else is happening? They are getting in touch with their uterus, which is doing the whole thing. The uterus is making this happen, right? It is creating the life, and it's going to be the motor that is able to push the baby out. So it makes sense that we get in touch with this area, and not just get in touch with it, but discover that it's a pleasurable organ and that we can also stimulate it and we could also make it stronger. And, one of the best ways to train your uterus is by having orgasms.
Oh. Okay.
Because the contractions that happen during an orgasm are just like the contractions that happen during birth. So if your body, has lots of orgasms, then it can connect it also to pleasure. So like these contractions are pleasurable, but it also is trained as well in a way that maybe it wouldn't normally be, because what they say a lot is that we're completely disconnected to our uterus. And when we talk about it in a negative way.
Yes.
This hurts, that hurts. Instead of, hey, uterus, thank you for everything that you do. You're doing a great job. So, that's a huge thing that has really helped, I think. I mean, and what I do is not that many people are, dancing with pregnant women. Like, okay, you do yoga, you do, I think, strength training as well, people do, but dancing. So it's like, what about the people who want to dance?
Yeah.
And what about the people who want to specifically connect with their uterus and with other women dancing together? There's a public for that. It's not as big as like yoga classes, but a lot of people want to dance, and all of the benefits that come with it, like in her training and Aisha's training. It's one of the only training that focuses on the uterus. Like the other ones are like, and understanding obviously the pelvis and how we can open it more and how we can but that focus on bringing the pleasure back here. And she always says that, like, if you're going to climb Mount Everest, you're not going to go without preparing yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So when we're going to give birth, which is like the biggest performance our uterus will have in its lifetime, we're also going to prepare. How can we prepare? By dancing with this area, by having orgasms, by, all of the stretching that we do as well that are opening up the ligaments, connected to the pelvis. So many things. So that's also been like a discovery. Now it's been like 5 years since we started with the Mamas in Motion program. And now it's like I hardly have to do any promotion because I have people contacting me already.
Cool. No
in the
post
beginning it
on
was
Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna wait on that post. I can have a couple more days without.
And how would you advise someone who's too shy or scared or to try a class with you?
I thought that you could answer that.
Well, for me it was, I really came with no expectations because I was totally dissociating from my body at that moment. I was working and I came because of the bachelorette party.
Right.
It was a revelation. No one had to, and when I had doubt about what happened because it was such a change in my body, my mom supported me in a very natural way. So I wasn't bad advised or no one pushed me out of it or thought I was crazy because I wasn't sharing with anyone.
Yeah.
And every time a friend showed interest in what I was doing, I brought them to your classes.
Yes, you have brought a lot of people.
Yeah, because...
And your mom.
Yes, my mom too. Because... As you said, marketing. I was so happy that I told how happy I was with to other people that wanted to try. So for me, I would love to address to men because they are the ones that are the most curious about it recently. Yeah. Maybe because education is done with women. So, and maybe not to men that think it's just something for us. Like they did in the YouTube video I told you before. So I would like them to come to class just also to dance because I feel like, for example, salsa, bachata, or waltz or whatever dance is not like twerk is ground focus. We are together but also in ourselves, and that's nice not to have to coordinate directly to. Like the pleasure in the dance comes very quick, like almost immediately.
Yeah.
So last words. Any last words for the public to conclude this interview?
Well, we didn't really talk about necessarily the origins. I don't know if we need to address that. Well, I talked about like twerk's sort of inception into the U.S. culture, but it comes from the African diaspora, and it comes through the slave trade with enslaved people. So I always try to not romanticize that, and that we understand that these dances, if we as non-Black participants, right, we're guests in this culture, if we want to liberate ourselves and we want to empower ourselves, it's essential that we also understand the injustices that the Black population is facing daily,
Still,
right?
yes.
Because I've heard lots of people say, "Oh yeah, twerk." I'm like, I feel liberated through twerk. I'm empowered through twerk, and I'm like, okay, but also, are you ignorant to what is happening around the world to Black populations,
Yes.
right? So we need to, it is our responsibility. So like one of the articles you mentioned, that's where I talk about like moving your ass is political, and we have to do it with social responsibility. And that means specifically that as guests in this culture, our responsibility is to make sure that we are doing whatever we can to make the world a safer place for Black communities, especially if I'm liberating myself through their dances, right? Because they're theirs and they are gifting them to the rest of the world so that we can partake in them as well. There's an activist, Amanda Sternberg. Does she sound familiar?
The name, yes, but I don't...
So she said a while back, like in 2013, something like, what would America be like if we loved Black people as much as we love Black culture?
Okay.
And that's always it's just an interesting thing to keep in mind for everybody who wants to twerk. Like, get past the whole, is it sexist or not? Like, we need to talk about other questions that are important, you know, like what you brought up too, like the part in the Save the Last Dance, like how these are perpetuating these sort of racist structures that, okay, the white girl dancing it is fun, but the Black girl dancing it is ratchet, even though she grew up dancing it. So wait, what? How does that make any sense?
And I understood very late. I understood 1 week ago that this scene was racist.
Yeah. But a lot of times I think we come back to movies and to whatever that we didn't realize it. And we're like, oh, wow, that's very clear. But yeah, I like to think that our empowerment that we feel doing these dances, it's always a good question to ask, like, how is my empowerment trickling down to other women who maybe don't have the same resources, access, money that I do? How can I make sure that they can also like empower themselves through these dances?
Educating.
Sure. And letting people know that, okay, where do these dances come from? So you might be taking, like what I always say, like, I'm a white teacher, but I'm American and I grew up with this culture. So like if there was a Black American teacher here, I would, who does twerk, because not everybody, you know, wants to teach twerk, but like I would say it is super important to take class with that person. It is super, you know what I mean? Like, take class with Black people.
Yep.
Take class with, you know, people who have been part of the culture. Donate if you can donate. You know, all of the things that you can do. But just, it's important to recognize that, you know, our role is as a guest. And so make sure that you're socially aware and socially responsible while partaking. And it's not just twerk, it's anything. So like recently, Bad Gal, who's like a big artist here, so she was talking about how she does reggaeton, but she didn't grow up in Puerto Rico or the Caribbean islands. She didn't face any discrimination. She hasn't dealt with that, but she wants to be able to, you know, I mean, she's influenced by that music and wants to put it in her music. But at the same time, she recognizes that, you know, I'm a white person. I haven't dealt with these injustices, but I'm doing everything I can to, you know, to make sure that other people are aware and conscious of this. And I think it was the first time that she had maybe been able to express herself well in saying that, because people have said for many years, like, you're appropriating, you are doing, Black music, and you're not, and you're like one of the more popular people doing it when there's a million reggaeton artists who don't have half of the visibility that you have. No? So anyway, it's just like, it's important to keep that in mind, I think, while dancing.
And you show videos of also traditional African dances. I remember in your class when you showed this movement, the ventilateur.
Yeah.
And many, like, regularly you show us people dancing in different moments, social moments. Also, it seems that there are sometimes also amateur video, not only the stars, but also the real life of how it's evolving,
of course,
in Africa.
Because, so those videos are in weddings, they're in celebrations where it's traditionally danced and not formal dance. It's dance at a party, it's dance with your mom, dance with, you know what I mean? Those are important to show. Absolutely. And then you have like the more recent stuff. And it's funny to see the reactions of people, like especially older generation people. Okay. So they're like totally excited about the Senegalese video, or the one that I show in Congo, which is like a fertility ritual. But then when they see the dance hall or they see the twerk, they start to be like, because they're sexualizing it.
Yes.
So they're looking at it through their sexualized lens, and they are sexualizing these women who are dancing for themselves, like, but so that for them is empowering, but then the other one is not.
It's we passed 10 minutes the hour, but I also wanted to, now that you're talking about that, there is also a topic that you bring regularly in class. It's the stripper world, let's say, because
absolutely
you want to put them under the spotlight for inventing also moves and and doing it very, like, creating culture toward that.
Absolutely. So there's a great article called How Twerking Has Shaped Southern Hip-Hop Music.
Okay.
Basically, so the strip clubs in Atlanta, Black strippers, are very well known for popularizing the booty clap, also like the glute isolations. This is something, it's a money maker, like you do it and
so it's, you have your ass like that and you're just moving one.
You're just isolating one and then the other, one and then the other.
We don't have time, or we
I don't really know if you can see with these pants. I didn't come prepared.
Like,
and then they're like black. I don't know if you can see it.
So it's one ass after the other.
One cheek and then the other cheek. And, these are nameless women who have contributed to the culture. And then there's people who are like, oh, I'm not a stripper. It's like, okay, but you are dancing movements that were popularized by a stripper. And that stripper has done way more for the culture than you have, right? So
that would be the final words.
And like, also what they say about it shaping the music is that, so a lot of times the DJs would try out new music in the Atlanta strip clubs to see how the crowd responds. And they would say that based on the dancers, they would be able to decide whether or not a song was going to be popular or not. If the dancers didn't dance to it, then they wouldn't even try. Okay. So a lot of times they say that the music, popular party music, at least in the US, hip-hop, starts in the strip club, then it goes to the dance club, and then it goes to the radio. So that's like the trajectory. Okay. So they have a lot to do with, they're muses in a way, but they don't get any credit.
Yep. So it's important, and today we do give them credit.
We're giving them credit, absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
And see you soon. See you on Monday. Thank you for watching us. And thank you for the questions. We had many questions today. Thank you very much. Bisous.